Morning, if anybody can hear. So my name is Vin. Welcome to my channel. I've been a trader for about 5 years. I've been trading prop firms for approximately, I think, 15 or 16 months now. I'd say I've traded about, or I've passed at least 12 of them, and I still have 3 accounts with Top Step. I'm currently trying to pass the eval with Lucid. Yeah, so the style I use is supply and demand, and I'll actually use pullbacks as well. And my entry points, if you notice, if you look at my screen, there's these horizontal lines. Those basically are my entries and my exits. Other than that, yeah, these gray zones that I've drawn out are my 15-minute demand zones, and the ones that are in blue are my 5-minute supply and demand zones. Right now, I just have the demand zones drawn out. So right now, I've just highlighted what I've seen from the previous day as well as this morning, and I'm looking for any reactions right now. I also have the 5-minute up as well. You can use the tab if anybody is using NinjaTrader. There are tabs on the bottom that you can add to look at it. But yeah, so right now I'm just waiting to see if there's a reaction right off the 15 right now to see what price is going. So far this morning we've had a swing high to about 26,898. So it's just a matter of being patient and seeing what happens. If anybody has any questions in terms of my style of trading, feel free to add any comments. But yeah, let's just see what happens here. If you also notice on the bottom, I do have the MACD up. That's to help me understand any divergence that does happen, and if I'm taking any buys or sells. Generally, if I'm taking a buy order will be below the 0, and any sell orders will be above, if that makes any sense. Looking at yesterday's move, I wasn't home. I was at work, so I couldn't trade it. It did complete the gap fill, if you notice, or at least close to it, before it retraced down again. Now I did have a demand zone drawn out. Mind you, that's when I got home, which would have been around this area, I believe. So the zones that I use out, sorry, not the zones, the time frames that I use out to draw the demand zones, generally I would start off with the 5 and the 15-minute, and then I'd move down to the 1-minute. Like if I don't like the size of the candle in terms of the coverage, then I'll look to the next time frame. But generally, yeah, I'll usually trade off the 5 minute, the 15 minute, and lastly the 1 minute. If you notice on the top right here, I have my chart set up as tick charts. I just find it's better for myself in terms of trading on ticks. I think the reaction's so much different. I mean, you can compare the two between a 1 minute. Right now I'm using a 1597 tick versus a 2000, but it's whatever works for you. This is what works for me. Currently price, we're getting close to the open. I will trade the open. Like if there's a setup there, you just gotta go for it, right? Like don't hold back. Once again, if it's mechanical, the setup's there, go for it. Though I will say this, even though the setup is there, there are times where you have to use your instincts or your intuition and ask yourself whether or not you should enter the trade. There are times where I will look back to my left to see if there's been a lot of resistance or support as well before I make that decision, and yeah, you just enter the trade. So we are 3 minutes away. Seems as though we're getting somewhat of a response around this area. 812.50. If you hear me call out the last, was it 5 digits, it's just easier for me to call out those numbers as opposed to saying 26, 812.50. Now these horizontal lines are set at 31.25 points. I'll generally start at like say 25,000 and I'll keep on going up. That's just an example, of course. 31.25 points, I'll keep on putting that as I'm going up or down. Now these are drawn manually. If you can get a third party to add it, do so. But as you'll notice, everything on here I have driven or drawn manually. Alright, we're 1 minute away. Let's see what happens. There's a lot of room for price to go down, but currently it seems to, I'm not sure if this is a new high. I haven't quite looked that far back, but we'll see what price does today. If we get a retracement, might head down to yesterday's low, possibly around 11.08, so maybe looking at a price of 593.50 or possibly 625. We're always thinking of where price could possibly go to, right? So another area that I've also highlighted off the 15 EMA would be 750. Okay, so market is open. Let's see what happens. the price broke through that 15-minute zone, so I consider that to be invalid now. So generally I'm looking for a pullback as form of entry, whether I'm going long or short. And currently right now I do not have my M and Q. And so I run two screens, 234 screens. I'll have my M and Q on top and the NQ on the bottom, and I'll have the 5-minute. I'll add an extra tab for the time frames. Okay, so I'm gonna eliminate this. Let's see what price does here. So let's see. Price reacts off of 750. Is it gonna break through? I take a look at entering at 781.25. Get a buy order ready. I'm looking off the M and Q, and I'm getting a pullback to go short. So I will use the M and Q to help me with my entries. If I'm not seeing anything off of the NQ. Okay, right now the rejection's still there. Shall I say the support is there right now off the M, off the NQ. I place some buy order 781.25. Right now there's no clear direction. Right now it looks like a short off the NQ. Might just take off this buy order. Get ready to go short at about 718.75. Wait to see how this candle closes. Have you also noticed these lines that I have? Those are exponential moving averages. I have the 6, which is the blue, the yellow's the 10, this blue's the 50, and this is my 80 EMA. Okay, right now I still don't have a clear sense of the direction. Looks like we're going short still. I'm going to take off that buy order. At least I think I am. sometimes I'll get this fake out to the bottom and it'll reverse and start pushing higher. So those are the things you have to be aware of. This is why time on screen is really important. Like you have to put in that time, and you should only focus on one instrument, because then you have a better understanding of how that price moves. More often than not, you're going to tell yourself, I've seen that move, and it's because you've seen the pattern repeat itself. Entering, let's see if price moves up to 781 and a quarter. There's no such thing as perfect, even though price did break through, it didn't close on that demand zone, but once again, right, you never know. Pretty much just speculating, right? If anyone has any questions in terms of everything that I have on my screen right now, yeah, just feel free to comment. I don't know how my audio is right now, whether it's loud enough or do I need to turn it up? I'm not sure if this is any better. Hopefully the volume is better. So once again, price right now, price is going sideways. Somewhat consolidating at this point. I have to be cautious. And once again, if you don't like what you're seeing, just take off the order. You don't necessarily have to stay in the trade, right? Okay, it looks like price is gonna go short. Now these EMAs, the 50 and the 80, these lines here give me an idea of who's in control. If you look at this move up here where you had the cross, right, the buyers were in control, right, and as soon as the pullback came, it got nice support off the 50 as well as the 80, and then we had to push up. Currently they still are in control, even though price has moved down. So that's generally how I gauge it. And I'm looking for consistent gapping as well, if you'll notice through here, anytime we're having a pullback. 6 and 10 EMA will show me where the resistance is coming in or support. I'm not always looking at it. It's there, but it's not there, if that makes any sense. Usually if I've entered a trade, that's what I'll look to first, to see if I'm getting any resistance or support. So at this point we're still waiting for some kind of confirmation in terms of the direction. Price can still push off this level and head up, so you just got to be patient and wait. I mean, there's a scenario where price comes back up, you know, and fills me, and I'm entered, and comes back and takes me out. So once again, these vertical or these horizontal lines are my entry and exits. It's clearly defined, and it gives me an idea too of how much of a return I'm looking at, right? Obviously, from 750 to 781 would be considered a 1-to-1, and then obviously to 812 and a half would be 1-to-2, and so on and so forth. So, and I do not move my stop loss. It is a hard stop. I've learned, you know, if it takes you out, it takes you out, right? You can always re-enter. Looks like price is going to take me in, so we'll take this entry. If it does come up to it, I'm checking out the M and Q to see if I do. There is some divergence off of the M and Q, so that helps with my analysis if price is going to push up higher. I'll wait and see. Right now it's at the 50 and 80 EMA, and it's getting a rejection off it, so let's see what happens. Once again, worst case scenario, price goes up, enters me, and then comes back down and takes me out. Yeah, you just got to move on after that. Start getting a pullback. See if we get any support off here and a push up. Because right now, anytime I'm looking for a move up, I'm always looking for higher lows. This would be considered a higher high, and if we get a move here to push up, this would be the higher low. So for those that don't understand market structure, yeah, you're gonna have to learn that. I don't clearly go by market structure. I use it just as a general guideline. Same thing with the with any pullbacks. I just use it as a guideline. But it won't stop me from entering just because it didn't break, say, the last candle moving up. Okay, we're getting, looks like higher lows right now. This zone seems to be holding. So this is what I'm looking at right now. Right? And if price breaks this swing high right here, which I'm looking for. Now all I'm looking for today is a 1-to-1. I need 600 to pass this eval. See, we get a fill right here. Yep, okay, so we're in. So we'll see what happens. Now it's just a matter of patience. Now if you can't, or you struggle looking at the charts, just like other traders will tell you, walk away from it, and hopefully that helps. I don't want to say price could return to this morning's high at, what was that, at 755, but there's that possibility. I didn't draw out a supply zone, which I probably should have. Nonetheless, I was just looking for a 1-to-1 right now. Unless I'm doing an analysis for price to go higher. Or unless I was trying to capture, I guess, what would that be? 1, 2, 3, so 3 or 3-to-1, 3-to-1 return. So yeah, once again, if anybody has any questions, just write them down in the comments section. might be going against me right now. If that's the case, then so be it. I'm gonna bring up the M and Q. See where we are currently. Getting some resistance. Right now the M and Q, the seller's actually in control. Now if you think it's going against you, you can move your stop loss to break even, right? So discount entry would have been where my stop loss is. If you notice, that's where the entry should have been, right? So had I got in there, I would have gotten filled and it would have already gotten taken out. But once again, you know, you don't know where discount is, but you can speculate and say that is where discount is and take the entry, right? And if you're worried, you can always use the M and Q to enter if you're worried about sizing, right? Generally right now, I would move my stop to break even. However, I'm gonna stay in this trade and see it through. Hopefully we can get a retracement here. There are certain candles that I do favor as I'm watching this. A hammer candle would be great. That'll show me that buyers are still in control and are pushing price up. So see how this candle closes. I am getting support off the 6 EMA off the MNQ. At this point it looks as though there might be a pullback off the NQ. Alright, so that was my trade for today. I've passed the 50K eval. I believe I needed $600 to pass it, so the question is, do I start another eval or do I just start trading? So this just gives you an idea of, what to do during the trade and to not panic, right? once again, you believe in the system, just take your entries. Um, Most of the time, once again, it'll work out, and there's the odd time where it's not going to work out. So generally, you should look for definitely more than 1-to-1 if you can. But I mean, if you're starting out, just look for the 1-to-1 if that helps you out. And as time goes on, look for the 2-to-1 return, 3-to-1, 4-to-1, so on and so forth. Let's see, let's switch. I'm going to switch my screen right now to enlarge so that you won't be able to see the right side of my screen. Oh, uh-oh. So I made a mistake. I had my count on sim traded, so I did not pass the eval. So you know what? Stuff like that's gonna happen. I didn't realize I had it on sim. So little mistakes like that you're gonna have to be aware of. Whether or not I take another trade today, that's a possibility. If not, I'll just trade tomorrow. It's not a big deal. There'll be other trades. So these are times where you'll learn not to be so hard on yourself, right? You're gonna make mistakes. You'll live to trade another day, and that's how you gotta view it. Okay, see, we get another pullback here. And this would almost be considered textbook, right? If price came down, tapped here, and pushed up. So generally, if you're just to trade the breakout off the pullbacks, this is a pullback, and price breaks out here, you can trade that and not use these horizontal lines that I've drawn to take the entries. You can take the entry as well, like if price came back up, right, to 781.25, you can take the entry to go long, as long as you've identified this area as being the pullback, right? This is almost textbooks right here, where you get that price came back down to tag that swing high, and then price would push up to the next level. That's textbook. Does it happen like that all the time? Not necessarily. So right now price looks like it's going to retrace up to possibly the high of this morning, which would be 898.5, I'd say, around there. Oh, yes. So I'm going to check the 5-minute, see what I'm now. What I like to tell everybody as well, right? So these are the zones that I've marked out earlier, where I think price can get to and have a rejection. Where's my crosshairs? Okay, here we go. So I'd initially drawn out this area, which actually would have been a nice entry to go short at about 835, but I did not draw that out on my tick chart, which is my mistake. However, with that being said, once again, right, you look at the little mistakes you may have made, but you move on from it. So at this point, I would draw a zone out here. Now, a demand area, generally you want to take the last bearish candle, and that's the area you want to highlight off of. I take it, when I look at supply and demand zones, I look at it as just in general. I'll even take, say, maybe the last bullish candle, the green candle, and I'll highlight that as well. So I'm not glued to the fact that it has to be a bearish candle. And obviously, vice versa, when you're looking for a move down, you want to take the last bullish candle, which would have been this green candle here, right? Got a nice reaction off here. Let's see if let's go back to the NQ and draw that out. Let's see whether or not, I would have taken that entry. So let's go to the 5-minute here. I believe the arrows drew out. Okay, so I don't want, let's copy this. So once again, my blue zones are my 5 minutes, 5 minute, and my gray zones are the 15-minute. So it would have been right around here. And let's draw out the zone here. So the 15-minute held. Scale it back here. I'll leave the 5 there. And let's switch it back. Okay, I'll switch it back to my text. Okay, so now we're back. So that would have been a quick entry if that was the case. So I would have entered at 8:38 is where my entry would have been. Definitely would be looking for 2-to-1 return. 3-to-1 would be great, but yeah, once again. So let's see what price does at this point. Okay, so we have another pullback right here. Let's see if, so that was a nice return, right? That's at least 2-to-1 return. I had taken my original entry of 81.25. I probably could have taken maybe not. I was looking for a pullback off the MNQ for another entry, which would have been 812 and a half. And now that price, if you notice, got support off the 10 EMA. Like that would have considered that an entry point to go long at 43 and 3/4, at 843 and 3/4. But once again, right, just because it's there doesn't mean I'll take the entry. Though I probably would have taken the entry. I still have an opportunity here if I wanted to enter. There's nothing back here to really to be fearful of, right? Like if there was a lot of consolidation, then I probably wouldn't take the entry. However, there's that possibility, like I said, price can retrace up to this morning's high. So far it's given a 2-to-1 return. Now it's a possibility of 3-to-1. I mean, it's not like this every day. This is, there are days where I get it wrong, right? So let's see if the price will complete this move and at least get to 875. So at this point I'm getting some divergence off the MNQ. So price might start falling at this point. Once again, this would be a nice textbook setup if price comes down, taps this last swing high, and then pushes up. Right. be honest, I have watched other traders go live. I'll generally watch them after I've taken my trade to see the direction they've gone. Now, as you notice, I don't trade ICT. I don't trade the opening range breakout. I trade supply demand slash pullback breakout, and that's my strategy. If you guys want more information or you want me to do a further breakdown of my strategy, please leave any comments on the video. I was planning to stream until probably 11. I might cut it short and end it at about, say, 10:30. There's really not much for me to do. But once again, that little mess up of being on the sim account versus the evaluation account. This last zone I've drawn out, we're getting a rejection off of it. However, price can still break through that and go higher. Now these zones that I've drawn out are just ones that I've selected, right? I mean, it could be different with other traders in terms of where they've highlighted their zones. Now, if price were to move down, if you notice this last zone that it drew out off the 5-minute, there's a possible chance that price comes back down to this area. Probably 750 again, 26,750. Taps it and pushes back up, or it can actually break through. So I always have to think of the possibility. Now what this is just my my drawing tile, if people were wondering. I'll move it in a space where it's not impeding my ability to analyze what's happening. You can add how much or whatever you want onto this, but this is generally what I have up. And my preference is trading on NinjaTrader. I don't use TradingView. I just think the executions are a lot simpler and easier off of NinjaTrader. Use whichever platform is easiest for you. Let's just see what's happening on the 5-minute. Right now we're in that zone. There's another spot up here though, but see what happens. This is just the initial area, right? This would have been a good spot to go short. Obviously, I didn't have it drawn out, so too little, too late. We'll see if this zone actually holds up, or we break through to go higher. We could easily get to this level up here and break even higher, right? So let's just see what happens. And the reason why I drew this this area out is because I like to pick an area where the last swing low was as price closed off. That's another area where I think price can get to before it reverses. But obviously the low of the day from yesterday would have been right here at 11:08, right? So that's definitely another target I could look at had price move down, or there's still that chance too that price may get to this area later in the week. But yeah, just something to be aware of. Still getting divergence off the M and Q. See if price holds to still continue up, or will it start heading down? Price could still get support anywhere here and still get a push up, right? Even say it gets to the 50 or even the 80, it could get support off there, right? The 50 or 80 EMA. Getting a pullback off the MNQ right now. That could definitely be a signal to go short, however. You have to use your analysis and ask yourself whether or not you should. An entry would have been, what, 8, 12 and a half to go short. Sorry, I forgot that I had maximized the screen so you couldn't see the price to my right. I just put it back recently. Right, I'll probably end this stream in at about 7 minutes. I'm not sure if I mentioned about the MACD earlier. I might have gotten it mixed up. So if you look at the MACD currently, price is above there. Right? It's above the 0. So what you should be looking for are buys when it's above here, right? When take any buy orders. Now when price is below here, it's when you actually want to look for sell orders. I think I got that mixed up at the beginning of the video. But that's how I use it. Now will I take a short or long where it's at the 0? Yes, I will. If there's confirmation there for me to go short or long off that 0, then I'll do so. But other than that, that's how I would use it. I'm not looking for the cross. Same thing when it comes to these EMAs here. I'm not looking for the cross, right? Same thing with the 6 and the 10 or the 50 and the 80. I'm just gauging it to see who's in control at that particular moment, right? So right now, buyers, as far as I'm concerned, buyers are still in control, even though price did move down. It's getting somewhat of a pullback here. Generally, I'm looking for at least one candle, which I would consider it as a pullback. Like for instance, here you have that green candle, then 2 red candles. Like even if I got this, say this candle is obviously red and then this one was green, I would still consider that a pullback, and I would take it long at 81 and a quarter. Right here, my entry would definitely still would be at 843 and 3/4 had I gone long here. Right, you get this nice candle that comes in, which is an engulfing candle. What that means is this candle engulfs this previous bearish candle. So you could look for small details like that as an entry point or justification for your entry. Alright, it's in about a couple minutes. I'm just going to end this stream. Once again, you have any questions, comments, please leave it in the comment section. Just want to see if something happens off the 50 ME. For those who've never traded, you also have to be aware of news that comes out. I think the site that I use to look for the news is forex.com. But then again, there are other news too that's not listed that'll affect the market. So just make sure you're aware of that. Okay, you know what? I think I'm gonna sign off. Hopefully everyone learned something. If you have any suggestions, feel free to write it in the comments section. And yeah, I'll see everybody tomorrow morning at 9:15. All right, goodbye.